Horton's world welcomes you. The Grim Reaper. A cloaked figure, a skeletal face, a chilling grin. He clutches a scythe, its blade gleaming under a perpetually gray sky. Universal and timeless, the Grim Reaper transcends cultures and languages. But where did this image originate? What historical events breathe life into this skeletal specter? In this exploration, we'll delve into the origins of this haunting figure. Our exploration begins in the ancient world, a time when humanity grappled to understand the mysteries of life and death. From the Egyptian god Anubis to the Greek ferryman Charon, each culture developed its own unique personification of death. Yet it was during the tumultuous Middle Ages in Europe that the Grim Reaper, as we know him today, began to solidify into the chilling figure we recognize. The Black Death, a devastating pandemic that ravaged Europe in the 14th century, left an indelible mark on art, literature, and the collective human psyche. Long before the Grim Reaper, ancient cultures grappled with mortality through their own personifications of death. In ancient Egypt, Anubis, the jackal-headed god, presided over the underworld and the mummification process. Across the Aegean Sea, the ancient Greeks envisioned Charon, a somber ferryman who transported the souls of the deceased across the river Styx to Hades. These early representations of death underscore a universal human desire to comprehend and personify the transition from life to death. As Europe transitioned from the ancient world to the Middle Ages, the concept of death continued to captivate artists and thinkers. The danse macabre, or dance of death, emerged as a prominent artistic motif, reflecting societal anxieties and evolving perceptions of mortality. These macabre artworks depicted skeletons and decaying corpses dancing alongside individuals from all walks of life. The dance macabre served as a stark reminder of death's universality, emphasizing that no one, regardless of their status or wealth, could escape its clutches. The arrival of the Black Death in the mid-14th century cast a long, dark shadow over Europe. This devastating pandemic, which wiped out an estimated one-third of Europe's population, brought the specter of death into sharp focus. The Grim Reaper, with his skeletal visage, darkened eyes, and chilling grin, emerged from this crucible of suffering. He was no longer a distant figure, but an ever-present threat, stalking the plague-ridden streets and claiming souls with his unwavering scythe. The Black Death solidified the Grim Reaper's place in the collective consciousness, transforming him into a visceral personification of the very real and immediate threat that surrounded them. Imagine, if you will, a world cloaked in fear. The year is 1347. The Black Death, a bubonic plague of unprecedented ferocity, has arrived on European shores. Carried by fleas on rats, the plague spreads like wildfire, leaving a trail of death and despair in its wake. Cities, once bustling centers of trade and culture, transform into open graves. The sights and smells of death permeate daily life. Faced with such unimaginable suffering, people sought explanations, solace, and perhaps even a target for their terror. The Grim Reaper, a skeletal figure draped in a black hooded cloak, emerged from this crucible of death and despair. He was more than just a symbol of death. He was its embodiment, a physical manifestation of the invisible force that was decimating their world. The Grim Reaper's skeletal form, stripped of all flesh and vitality, mirrored the plague's gruesome effects on the human body. The Grim Reaper's most iconic attribute, the scythe, was no mere artistic flourish. The scythe, a tool used for harvesting crops, took on a sinister meaning, representing the Grim Reaper's role as the harvester of souls. Just as a farmer reaps grain with a swift stroke of the scythe, so too did the Grim Reaper cut down human lives, indiscriminately gathering souls as the plague swept across Europe. The image of the scythe transformed into a chilling symbol of death's swift and merciless nature. The Black Death's impact on art extended beyond the figure of the Grim Reaper. The dance macabre, or dance of death, emerged as a powerful artistic motif, reflecting the pervasive sense of mortality and the societal anxieties of the plague era. In these macabre artworks, skeletons and decaying corpses danced alongside the living regardless of their social standing. Kings and queens, popes and peasants, all were forced to confront their inevitable demise in this grotesque waltz with death. The dance macabre served as a stark reminder of death's universality. The Grim Reaper's scythe, a tool seemingly mundane in the hands of a farmer, takes on a chilling significance as the instrument of death. Its curved blade, designed to cut down swaths of grain, becomes a chilling metaphor for the Grim Reaper's role as the harvester of souls. Just as a farmer reaps the fruits of the earth, so too does the Grim Reaper gather souls, cutting short lives with a single, decisive swing. The scythe's association with agriculture adds another layer of meaning to its symbolism. Similarly, the Grim Reaper's scythe represents the end of a human life, the transition from the earthly realm to the unknown. The hourglass, often depicted alongside the Grim Reaper, serves as a stark reminder of time's relentless passage and the finite nature of human existence. Each grain of sand that falls from the upper bulb to the lower represents a moment that slips away, bringing us closer to our inevitable end. The hourglass, with its two bulbs connected by a narrow passage, symbolizes the delicate balance between life and death. For centuries, the hourglass has been a potent symbol of mortality, appearing in art, literature, and even on gravestones. The scythe and the hourglass, while distinct in their forms and functions, work together to create a powerful and unsettling image of death's inevitability. The scythe represents the swiftness and finality of death, while the hourglass emphasizes the passage of time and the finite nature of human existence. These two symbols, often paired together in depictions of the Grim Reaper, reinforce the message that death is not a distant abstraction, but an ever-present reality. Just as a farmer harvests crops regardless of their individual characteristics, so too does death claim all, rich and poor, young and old, without exception. The hourglass, with its constant and impartial flow of sand, reinforces this message of equality in the face of mortality. While the Grim Reaper holds a firm grip on the Western imagination, other cultures have grappled with the mysteries of death through their own unique lenses. From ancient deities to folk saints, these personifications of death reflect diverse belief systems, cultural values, and attitudes towards mortality. In Mexico, La Santa Muerte, a skeletal folk saint often depicted as a woman in flowing robes, has gained widespread devotion. Unlike the Grim Reaper, often viewed with fear and trepidation, La Santa Muerte is revered as a protector, a healer, and a guide to the afterlife. La Santa Muerte, Spanish for Holy Death or Saint Death, stands in stark contrast to the Grim Reaper's grim visage. Often depicted as a female skeleton adorned in colorful robes and holding a scythe and a globe, La Santa Muerte's image might appear unsettling to those unfamiliar with her reverence in Mexican culture. However, for millions of devotees, she is not a figure to be feared but a powerful intercessor, a protector of the marginalized, and a guide to the afterlife. Her popularity, particularly among the working class, reflects a deep-seated belief in her ability to provide comfort, protection, and even miracles. Ancient Egyptian civilization, with its elaborate funerary rituals and intricate mythology surrounding death and the afterlife, offers a stark contrast to the Grim Reaper's association with finality. For the ancient Egyptians, death was a transition, a journey to the afterlife where the deceased would continue to exist in a spiritual form. Anubis, the jackal-headed god, guided souls to the Hall of Two Truths and oversaw the weighing of their hearts. The weighing of the heart ceremony depicted Anubis weighing the heart against the feather of Maat, the goddess of truth. If balanced, the deceased was granted passage to the afterlife. If heavier, it was devoured by Amit, a fearsome creature. In Hindu mythology, Yama, the god of death, holds dominion over Naraka, the realm of the dead. Often depicted with green skin, fiery eyes, and riding a black buffalo, Yama embodies both the fearsome and the just aspects of death. He is not a random harvester of souls, but a divine judge, tasked with evaluating the deeds of the deceased and determining their fate in the afterlife. According to Hindu beliefs, when a person dies, Yama's messengers, the Yamadutas, escort the soul to Yamaloka, his abode. There, Yama reviews the individual's karma, the sum of their actions in life, and decides whether they will attain liberation, moksha, or be reborn into a new life based on their past deeds. Yama's role as a dispenser of justice reflects the Hindu emphasis on dharma, the cosmic order and moral duty that governs all aspects of life. Death in this context is not an end but a transition, a moment of reckoning that determines the soul's future trajectory. Whispers from the Beyond, Tales of the Grim Reaper. Throughout history, whispers of the Grim Reaper have echoed through the corridors of human experience. From flickering candlelight in medieval hovels to sterile hospital rooms in the modern age, tales of encounters with death's emissary have sent chills down spines and ignited imaginations. These stories, often passed down through generations or shared in hushed tones, offer a glimpse into the enduring power of the Grim Reaper as a cultural symbol and a psychological archetype. Some accounts describe the Grim Reaper as a shadowy figure, a fleeting presence glimpsed at the periphery of vision during moments of extreme stress, illness, or grief. Others recount more vivid encounters detailing a skeletal figure in a black hooded cloak, its skeletal hand outstretched as if to claim a soul. While skeptics may dismiss these tales as hallucinations or the products of overactive imaginations, those who claim to have encountered the Grim Reaper often describe a profound sense of dread, a feeling of otherworldly coldness, and an unshakable certainty that they had brushed against the very fabric of death. Between life and death, a nurse's encounter. Sarah, a seasoned hospice nurse with years of experience comforting the dying, had always maintained a professional detachment from the Grim Reaper myth. She had witnessed countless deaths, each one unique and poignant, but she had never attributed them to the presence of a supernatural being. However, one late-night shift in the dimly lit corridors of the hospice ward, her skepticism wavered. An elderly patient, Mr. Davis, was nearing the end of his battle with cancer. Sarah had grown fond of the kind, gentle man, whose humor and grace in the face of death had touched her heart. As she made her rounds, checking on patients, she noticed an unsettling stillness emanating from Mr. Davis's room. Approaching his doorway, she felt a chill, a sudden drop in temperature that sent a shiver down her spine. Peering into the room, she saw a shadowy figure standing at the foot of Mr. Davis's bed. The figure, tall and cloaked, seemed to emanate an aura of profound sadness, a palpable sense of grief that mingled with the scent of antiseptic and impending loss. The Grim Reaper, a chilling figure, a skeletal specter. He has haunted humanity for centuries, his presence looming large in our art, literature, folklore, and even our dreams. But what is it about this cloaked figure clutching his ever-present scythe that continues to captivate and terrify us? Perhaps it is his stark simplicity, his cold, skeletal visage stripped of all the warmth and vibrancy of life that makes him such a potent symbol of our own mortality. Or maybe it is his universality. Regardless of our cultural background, our religious beliefs, or our station in life, the Grim Reaper serves as a stark reminder that death comes for us all. He is the great equalizer, the one certainty in a world rife with uncertainty. In a world obsessed with youth and vitality, the Grim Reaper stands as a stark counterpoint, a skeletal memento mori, reminding us of the fleeting nature of our existence. His presence, though unsettling, can also be strangely comforting. By acknowledging death, by giving it a face and a form, we rob it of some of its power. The Grim Reaper, for all his chilling symbolism, can also be seen as a psychopomp, a guide who ushers souls from the realm of the living to the great unknown. While the Grim Reaper's image may evoke fear, his presence also carries a valuable lesson. He reminds us that life is precious, a gift to be cherished and lived fully. The Grim Reaper's shadow should inspire us to embrace the present moment with purpose and gratitude. His message is one of urgency. Make the most of the time we have, mend broken relationships, pursue dreams, and leave the world brighter. The Grim Reaper reminds us of what truly matters: love, compassion, kindness, and a life well lived. Live each day as if it were your last. Embrace the beauty around you, cherish your loved ones, Make your life a masterpiece. The Grim Reaper can never erase the impact of a life lived with intention and love. Whether the Grim Reaper ultimately proves to be a creature of flesh and blood, a product of our collective imagination, or something entirely unexpected, the journey itself is a testament to the power of human curiosity, the importance of scientific inquiry, and the enduring allure of the unknown. Yet they also represent strength, wisdom, and the potential for transformation. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through the history of the Grim Reaper. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to Horton's World for more explorations into the world's most fascinating myths and legends. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What other mythical creatures or legends would you like us to explore next? Share your ideas, and let's keep the flame of curiosity burning bright. And as always, stay curious.